Hey guys, today I'll be doing a walkthrough of my exact diet and training routine for my Wolverine transformation challenge. First off, a big thank you to you guys for your overwhelming support and response to the video. Now before we get into it, I thought I'd just have to share this with you. So for those of you who don't know, if you have a Facebook page, say for example my Cosplay Chris Facebook page, every time you post something, you're able to do what's called boost, where you can pay from say $1 even up to $140 for more exposure. Now when it came time for me to post the Wolverine transformation video, the original thumbnail I had in the post was the before and after shot. Anyway, I ended up boosting the post for $5, which isn't really much, just to get some exposure because I've worked hard for this. And usually it takes Facebook about 15 minutes just to check through it and make sure it meets all their guidelines. 10 minutes later, I get a message saying the boost had not been approved. I then get an email from Facebook and this is what they had to say. Hello Chris, we found a post you boosted did not meet our ad guidelines. As a result, this post was not approved and is no longer boosted in newsfeed. Reasons? Your ad wasn't approved because it includes before and after images or other images showing unexpected or unlikely results. It's also recommended that you avoid focusing on specific body parts because these images typically receive high negative feedback. So in other words, Facebook thinks I didn't do it in 4 weeks. You know what, Facebook? I'm about to prove you wrong, bitch. So how it's gonna work, I'm gonna split this video into 3 sections: diet, training, and supplements. Now before we start, always make sure you consult your doctor or dietitian before undergoing something like this. Blah 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 blah. Now I want to keep these 3 segments as raw as possible so you hear everything that I've got to say. So diet. Now, as any fitness junkie or bodybuilder will tell you, diet is the most important thing over exercise, and it's true. You can train your ass off until the cows come home. If you're not eating properly, you're going to see no results. I'm a shift worker. I work out at the airport, so I was on a 7-day rotating roster. So it was kind of hard to juggle my diet plan around, but I figured out a way and it worked out in the end. So I'm going to go with the most common shift time that I worked, and that was 1:30 to 9:30 at night. So I'd wake up usually about 8 o'clock in the morning. I'd have 1 cup of steel cut oats, Quaker's oats to be exact. I then sprinkle 2 teaspoons of psyllium husks just for some fiber and some roughage. You can even sprinkle a little bit of protein powder in there if you want. And that was pretty much my main source of carbs for the day. Some people aren't going to agree with me on this, but when you've only got 4 weeks to do something like this, you've got to do that. I then go train for about an hour, hour and a half, and I will get to the training specifics in the training section. I then have a protein shake with WPI, which is quick absorbing into the bloodstream and into the system, so you recover quicker. About 2.5–3 hours later, I'd have 250 grams of either diced chicken breast or turkey breast with raw broccoli. 2.5–3 hours later would then be another protein shake, and this is the same brand of protein shake I'd have after training, so quickly absorbs into your system. Another 2.5–3 hours later, so late afternoon snack would be cottage cheese Brazil nuts, crushed up Brazil nuts to be exact, and some blueberries or strawberries. Try not to have too many strawberries because when you're trying to cut down on body fat, the fructose can actually slow that process down of fat loss. So I'd have a lot more blueberries. So that gives you antioxidants, you got your good fats, and you got your calcium from your cottage cheese, and you mix that together, and as crap as that sounds, it's actually not bad. Now dinner was the exact same as lunch. Usually I try and switch it up. Either turkey or chicken breast, and of course the raw broccoli. Every now and then I'd throw in an eye fillet steak. Eye fillet is probably the leanest red meat you can get, and it's got natural creatine in it, and you need that, especially when you're depleting yourself of so many carbs and nutrients for something like this. After dinner, I'd usually come home. I'd then have a fat burner, and I'll get to that in the supplement section of what fat burner I used, and that was half an hour before bed. And right before bed, I'd have my casein protein. And casein is a slow absorbing protein. So your body's going about, 7 to 9 hours without any food. And your body can go into what's called starvation mode, and you can actually lose muscle in the process. Casein protein reverses this, and it actually keeps protein going, slowly digesting into your system for about 7 hours. And that's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much what I ate. Of course, there was the exception of that one cheat meal at the halfway mark, and that was 11 slices of pizza. Oh yeah. Training. And now we come to the most torturous part of the whole exercise. Training. So like I stated in the reveal video, when I was lifting weights, I'd keep the rest periods between about 1 minute. 1 minute 30 absolute max. Now what you got to remember is, regardless if you're trying to put on weight, maintain size when you're cutting up, you got to include your compound movements. So you got your bench press, your deadlifts, your squats, your over the head press or clean and press, but you have to include these because they're recruiting more muscles than just the one, and that's going to build your physique a lot more better. So let's say, for example, I was training chest, start off with bench press, and I'd pyramid it up to eventually my 1 rep max. I'd then do decline bench, incline, I'd do flies, and I'd probably finish off with cable crossovers or the pec deck. Now, keeping in mind, you really have to watch your form. Don't sacrifice form for weight. It can actually be more beneficial if you're doing a lot more of a stricter movement, a lot more slower. You're going to break down a lot more fibers. So that was chest. Legs, again, compound movement was squats. So I pyramid that 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 kilos and up to my 1 rep max. Lunges, leg extensions, leg curls, box jumps. That was pretty much it for legs because you're kind of limited. You can get creative. There are some exercises out there, but those seem to be the ones that work for me the most. Back, of course, you got your deadlift. I do pull-ups and weighted pull-ups, so I'd strap, say, 10 kilos to me and bust out about 10 reps for that. So it's really going to build that V-taper in your back. Bent over rows, lat pull-downs, and they've even got the lat machine there, so you just pull it down, get a nice squeeze in your back, and that's a good finishing off exercise. Shoulders was clean and presses, or over the head press, and then I'd do all 3 heads of the deltoid. So your front, your side, and rear delt. So I do front raises, side raises, and bent over raises. And then I do my traps as well. I usually just do barbell shrugs. I used to do dumbbell shrugs, but it kind of played up with my lower back. So I just stick to barbell shrugs. Now buys, I'd usually train buys about 1 to 2, even 3 times a week, just because it's the fastest healing muscle group in the body as opposed to, say, the back or the legs, because it's the smallest. So I'd usually start off with standard barbell curls and keeping these area of the arms nice and still, up nice and slow, get a nice squeeze all the way back down. And that's really going to tear down those fibers in your biceps. And then do incline dumbbell curls, hammer curls, build up your forearms, and finish up with even cable curls. Tries was starting off with dips usually, or even close grip bench press. So that's also in turn going to work the inner part of your chest. I'm really going to bring out that line you want, that separation of the chest. I then do rope extensions, over the head press, and then usually I'd finish off with 1 arm extensions and really get the blood in the tries. Now usually people train muscle group once a week. I was trying to train muscle group as soon as it was healed. So as soon as the soreness had gone and as soon as I felt that it was healed, I just hit it again. So it wasn't a matter of training chest once a week. I'd sometimes train chest twice a week, legs twice a week, and buys up to 3 times a week. So I was training 6 days a week, and on my rest day I'd even just go for a brisk walk around the block. Now cardio, I really hate cardio. Cardio was a mixture of sprints, Stairmaster, and like I said, brisk walking, fast-paced walking, the ski machine. So pretty much just random stuff. Just don't stick to one thing when you're doing your cardio, because your body will eventually adapt to it. You got to keep mixing it up. So say, for example, before I started lifting, I do 5 minutes fast-paced walking on the treadmill, followed by 5 minutes of sprinting, and then a 5-minute warm down. And that's really going to get the metabolism kick-started before you start training. And then I do the exact same after training. Other days, I just do half an hour on the Stairmaster. As for abs was just a random mixture of crapola. I just do every ab exercise possible, usually every second or third day, depending on if I'd really hit them hard and they were sore. You got your crunches, medicine ball crunches, and obviously your side crunches. You don't want to forget your obliques. That was pretty much it, guys. That was training, and I tried to mix it up as much as possible on a weekly basis because just the way your body works, if you're going to do the same thing day in, day out, week in, week out, it's going to adapt and you're not going to see results. So you've got to keep mixing it up. Protein. Supplementation. Okay, now this brings us to the final segment of the video, and that is supplements. Now, you could go out of your way to get a load of supplements and they're not really going to do anything for you. So I just try to stick to the bare minimum. So let's start off with the most basic one, and that is protein. So when I'd finish training, I'd have some protein, of course, and in the middle of the afternoon. Now, the one that I think works best for me is Superior Whey by International Protein. And like I said, it's got WPI, WPC, whey peptide blend. So this is fast absorbing and it gets straight to those muscles to help them recover a lot quicker. And it's cheap too, and it tastes really, really good. Casein protein. Now, casein protein is a slow absorbing protein. So your body's going 7 to 9 hours without any food, any nourishment. And what can happen is your body turns catabolic, which means it will actually use muscle, all that hard muscle that you've trained for, just for energy. Now, casein protein is made up of milk-based proteins, which in turn is slower absorbing into the body. So it usually absorbs slowly over about 7 hours. And this is actually a casein custard. So this really satisfied my cravings when I was on the diet. It's 3 scoops in 200 mils of water or milk, depending on what you're doing. So if you're trying to bulk, you can have it with some milk and some natural peanut butter. And the taste is pretty good. This one is cream caramel custard. I've got chocolate as well. You can mix them up together and it tastes like a proper mousse. So that's really good. And I've got here what's called amino recovery. Now, when you're trying to lose fat and maintain muscle mass, you are regardless going to lose some muscle mass. Amino acids is going to reduce that effect. And you really do need amino acids during training and also for recovery. So I'd mix a scoop of this into some water just in my protein shaker, and I'd have it during training. And then I'd have another scoop throughout the rest of the day, just little sips now and then. Because I'm out on the tarmac at work at the airport, I'm running around, I need that little bit of help for recovery. So that's amino recovery, and that is watermelon flavor. I've also got lemonade flavor, but watermelon flavor is the best. And now comes to the last part of my supplements, and I mentioned before that I took a fat burner half an hour before bed, and this cracks me up every time I read this slogan. But I'll get to that in a minute. I went to the supplement store. I said, look, I've never taken a fat burner before. I've heard some stories, and I don't want to be all like... And they put me onto this stuff called PM Shred Time, which is a fat burner you have half an hour before bed. It's got no caffeine in it, it's all natural. One of the main ingredients is L-theanine, and it also promotes good sleep. So it's called PM Shred Time, and I kid you not, this is the slogan. Turn bedtime into shred time. And this is apple flavor, and it was actually pretty nice. So you have it half an hour before bed, and if you've had it on an empty stomach, just say your dinner's digested, about 5 minutes later, you get this feeling this sensation that comes over you and you're ready for bed. And I've probably never had such a good sleep in my whole life with over those 4 weeks. So you're in the deepest sleep, you recover quicker, there's no groggy feeling when you wake up, and you wake up feeling energized and recovered. So that's it, guys. That was the supplements I had. Try and keep it to a bare minimum. You want to get most of your nutrients from good, wholesome foods. And of course, one of the most important factors, sleep. Try to aim for about 7 to 9 hours of good quality sleep to maximize recovery. And that's pretty much it, guys. No tricks, no gimmicks, no bull. Just work your ass off, be consistent, and you will see results. So thanks very much for watching, guys, and thank you for your continuing support. And most importantly, always remember, cosplayers do it best.